In our previous film, we talked about the origins of wine. This time we will discuss the world market of wine and its key players. The world wine market reached $300 billion in 2017. The sector grows 8% every year and will reach $423 billion in 2023, according to the International Wine Institute. Over the past 20 years, the economies of many nations have developed, and their people's disposable income has grown. People's consumption increased, including the consumption of wine, which had contributed to the wine industry's expansion. As human life improves and purchasing power increases, the demand for wine, especially in North America, Australia, Japan, and Western Europe, has been increasing strongly with it. Today, more and more consumers look for quality over quantity when choosing a wine. Along with ever-growing consumer needs, wine suppliers aim to deliver as much information on their wine labels as they can. More and more suppliers display their wine's origin and distinction of the brand, the name of the crop area, the type of grape, bean, the harvested year, and the quality rating. According to BK Wine magazine, half of the wine produced in the world in 2018 came from only 3 countries: France, Italy, and Spain. The other half was produced in the United States, Argentina, Chile, Australia, Germany, South Africa, and China, listed in the top 10 countries. In terms of vineyard size, the world's largest are Spain, China, and France. By consumption, the United States, France, Italy, Germany are the leading market. For example, according to the International Wine Research Institute, a French person consumes 46 liters of wine per year. A Czech consumes 23 and a Mongolian 1 liter of wine per year. According to the Mongolian National Statistical Office, Mongolia imported 2.6 million liters of wine in 2008 and 3.2 million liters in 2018. Therefore, the consumption of wine has increased by 17% over a decade. LGCF Group is the largest wine producer of France. I met with the marketing director of this group, Miss Anne-Laure Rein-Helfrich, in Chateau Cantin, located in Saint-Emilion region of Bordeaux. let's talk about the chateau. When was it built? Looks very old. When you got it, and tell us about the history of the chateau.
Chateau Quentin is a beautiful chateau here in the area of Saint-Émilion because it belongs to the appellation Saint-Émilion Grand Cru. And as you see, it's a very old building because it was built in the 17th century. And it was an old monastery, and monks built it as a farm, and they cultivate all the vineyards.
Have been driving all this steep, then a little bit hilly place here.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is because it's a little bit hilly, it gives different reflection of sun on the fruits, and it gives particular flavor to the wine.
Yeah. And it's you will have an incidence also on the weather, because if you are going on the bottom of the hill on the morning, you will have some of cloudy weather, and it brings you some humidity into the wines. That does mean that the maturity will take a little more time to progress. That does mean that it keeps all the acidity, and you will take a little more time to mature, and that's very interesting. Because sometimes you will have some other wines, when you have a lot of sun exposure, it will be powerful, and here we have the power, but also the elegancy and the finesse du Saint-Émilion.
The wines from the Saint-Émilion region are rated by their quality. To this day, the wines from Chateau Quentin are classified among the highest rank, the class of Grand Cru. Chateau Quentin has a vineyard of 30 hectares and has its own wine cellar inside the castle. Annal's father, Joseph Helfrich, started his wine business 45 years ago with only $500 in his pocket. Out of 210 in the world, okay. Why it is so much extension?
Because my dad began with, thanks to our localization, we are based in Alsace. Alsace is the eastern part of France, and we are the neighbor of Germany, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. That's why for us it was easier to go in the eastern part of Europe instead of France. And in France we had a lot of competitors. So at this time we tried to go abroad, and the aim of my dad was always, and he is always, is to explain the French wine diversity to foreigner people. So that's why we began to go to foreigners and to go where the other people, the other French guys didn't want to go. So that's why we are going to small Insel, Iceland. We are going to very far to Australia and so on. And we try, like Robinson Crusoe, we try to sell our French wine all around the world.
Today, LGCF Group owns about 3,500 hectares of vineyards and 70 chateaux in a 7 wine region of France. The company has 3,200 employees in France alone and exports its wine to 174 countries. Last year, the LGCF Group generated a revenue of 1 billion euros. Mongolia is one of the first countries to have imported their wines since 20 years ago. Joseph Helfrich was the first producer to start printing the name of grape type on the wine bottle label. As producers in other countries started to adopt his idea, and consumers around the world began to understand more about wine, Joseph plays an important role in the recognition of French wine throughout the world.
The trend is amazing because I cannot give you only one answer. I can give you more. Because we will have a few trends, I will say, in the country where wine belongs to the culture, like in France or Italy, Spain. I will say that people are drinking less wine than 1 decade. But on the other side, they are moving, they are drinking less but better, other quality. On the other hand, you will have some other country who are not wine culture, wine drinker, but these people, when they are more and more educated, and when people travel a lot, they will be more and more able to consume wine, and they are more and more interesting in.
Wine was used to replace water in the Middle Ages. The first system was put into the place by the order of Napoleon III for the preparation of the International Trade Fair in Paris in 1855. Wine from every chateau was organized according to price from the previous years. This was how cru classification created. It was considered that the higher the sale price, a wine had, the better is its quality. At that time, most French wine came from Bordeaux. The wines in this region are classified according to the geographical locations. The river Gironde, flowing into the Atlantic Ocean, divided the region into west and east side. Today, 3 better appellations AOC is printed on the wine label to certify that the wine originates from a French vineyard and it's prepared by the traditional method. Every chateau cultivates its wine grapes in its own vineyard, produces its own wine and bottles it inside the chateau with its own label. Total, let's talk about the company. How many people work? What is your market size, etc.?
So the company is quite a big one. Into France, we are more than 3,200 persons. But what is the most important thing is the fact that we have only 40 years. We are only 40 years old, and it's my dad who founds the company. So in 1979, the birth of my brother also, and he built from nothing. So we are Alsatian, a small family from Alsace, and he began with cognac. Because my grandfather was a Schnapsbrenner. That does mean he made some eau de vie. And my dad began with cognac. After he go to wine, and he was fond of wine. And through the time, when he had opportunity, he get in one region to another one and build some properties.
In 2007, LGCF Group purchased one of the most famous brands in Bordeaux with 188 years history, the Calvet. In the present, the Calvet brand is produced from the best preserved grapes of the Bordeaux and Burgundy regions of France. The unique taste of this brand is created by aging the grapes in the special alley oak barrels. Today, Calvet brand is consisting of 40 different types of high-quality wines. At Saint-Savin, where Calvet is located, over 80 farmers grow high-grade grapes on total of 640 hectares of vineyards and supplying to the company. Calvet brand can be distinguished by the image of flying eagle logo raised on the bottle, adopted since 1920. Because of its strong fruity taste, affordable price, it is one of the best-selling brands on the international wine market, holding many medals and awards. In this film, from the Travels Through the Wine World series, we have discussed the main producers of wine from France, the current trends of the wine market. We presented the largest French wine producer LGCF group, visited the traditional Chateau Cantan, and the history of famous wine of the Cave brand.